I'm looking like, are those midgets? Because it's people over them. Like, it's people trying to hide what they're doing.
Adults who are little people, or are you talking about minors?
Diddy, a name synonymous with music, fame, and fortune, now finds himself at the center of one of the most chilling scandals to ever rock Hollywood.
I'm looking like, are those midgets? Because it's people over them. Like, it's people trying to hide what they're doing.
Adults who are little people, or are you talking about minors?
Am I gonna get in trouble? I don't want to say I witnessed any of that crazy stuff, but we all have common sense. Little people. That's not supposed to be there.
You're talking about underage people.
It's a shame.
But the most shocking revelation is a claim that minors were present at these infamous parties, dressed provocatively as Harajuku Barbies, surrounded by a wall of adults intent on keeping their activities hidden from
It
press.
was very hard for her to say it, actually. So what she said was that she was flown out from LA to Miami by the Saudi prince. And they ended up eventually on Star Island at one of these parties. She says, among many other things, I mean, she goes into details. She says happened in 2018. She says that she walked into the house and there was a cluster of adults around what she described as little people. And they were dressed up as Japanese Barbies. I forgot the name. It's Tarek something. You can help me out here. It's a certain anyway.
I know the name, but I've forgotten it. But go ahead.
So she explained that they were just clustered around these little people, and I kept pushing her, and she eventually said, "Look, they are little people who should not be at an adult party." And I pushed her, and it was apparent what she was saying is they were minors. Now, she didn't see anything specific that was going on with them, other than that adults were kind of huddled around them.
This isn't your typical Hollywood scandal. It's darker, more disturbing, and filled with implications that could expose an entire network spanning decades. The world first heard whispers of Diddy's so-called freak-offs long before his recent arrest. These parties, described by some as the playground of the rich and infamous, were known for their debauchery, excess, and strict secrecy. But the details that have since emerged paint a picture far more sinister than anyone could have imagined.
He used to use condoms. And then at the end of the day, or he picked somebody up, or he going to Kim or whatever like that, he'd be like, yo, y'all got any condoms? So I was one of those dudes, I used to keep condoms in my truck for him. Because we never knew when this dude was gonna say, yo, I need a condom. And then you could be getting off of work and he could have company and everything like that, and he'll say, yo, I need condoms. So we used to keep boxes of condoms for him. That was our boss. I used to get them from the state because we had to get them for the inmates. So, when we go to visit the inmates and stuff like that, and they be like, yo, I don't use them. Keep them in the truck. Puffer use them. But security used to have to give condoms for them. So I understood what people might say he liked baby oil. They kept baby oil in the house for him.
In the world of fame, few names resonate like Diddy, a mogul whose influence spans music, fashion, and culture. But beneath the glitzy surface of luxury and success lies a darker story, a tale involving Diddy's notorious Harajuku Barbie persona and troubling allegations of...
Is this woman, Tadia, is she really saying that there were minors involved in these freak-offs?
That is exactly what she's saying, Billy. Now, as to what they were doing, she never really could get a clean look at it. She said there was a wall of adults encircling them who clearly didn't want everyone at the party to see what was happening there. She said when she saw this scene with the younger people that it was about 7 a.m. and that the party had been going all night.
Did anyone ask her why didn't she leave, and what was she doing?
She was there as the guest of a Saudi prince. Why she didn't leave, I don't know what time she left. I agree with you that once you see something like she's describing, that's the time to tip out the door.
Or call the FBI.
Or call the FBI, exactly. But, you know, that's the other thing that we've heard from a lot of people who've been involved in parties with Diddy, that there are NDAs that are signed, and you walk out and you feel like, I can't say anything to anyone.
Harajuku Barbies, an iconic element in Diddy's creative universe, were initially celebrated for female empowerment and bold fashion. Yet, behind the flashing lights, rumors swirled about the manipulation and control exerted over these women. Some of the models who started as mere followers found themselves caught in the web of fame, subjected to the grueling pressures of the industry.
Steph, thank you. We are following breaking news right now related to music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Major new allegations today of sexual assault and exploitation by Combs. For the first time, we are hearing about victims who say they were minors when they were allegedly assaulted by the music star. The youngest, allegedly just 9 years old. The allegations were revealed today by attorneys representing more than 100 alleged victims who are preparing to sue. So let's bring in NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas right now. So Chloe, we know there is currently a press conference underway. We do have a live picture of that. Can you just walk us through these new allegations and tell us if we've heard from Combs yet?
So the individual that you see on the screen right now, that is an attorney based out of Houston, Texas, and his name is Tony Busby. He's been a part of some very well-known litigation over the years involving a BP oil spill, even involving the Astroworld Music Festival crisis where some individuals were killed during a stampede. So he has made headlines before, but this is pretty shocking. So he claims is claiming right now at this press conference that he has had over 3,000 individuals reach out to his law firm in Houston, Texas, that he and his team have been vetting these claims, that now they are representing over 120 accusers, and that over the next 30 days, they will begin to file different civil suits, that this is not a class action lawsuit, that they are going to continue to vet these allegations, but right now they feel strong about these. So he also said today that it's not just Combs that will be named as a defendant, that there will be other high-profile individuals, some household names. He says, quote, many powerful people, there are many dirty secrets.
The allegations against Diddy don't stop with these unsettling accounts. His arrest in September on federal sex charges brought forth a wave of additional lawsuits, each more horrifying than the last.
New civil lawsuits accuse the hip-hop mogul of horrific sexual assault, one case against a 10-year-old boy. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky here with the details. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning, George. Sean Combs is already fighting multiple sexist allegations, each one more disturbing than the next. His latest accuser says he was 10 years old at the time. This morning, a California man alleges he was 10 years old when Sean Combs sexually assaulted him during a 2005 visit to New York. He was trying to break into the music industry, and his civil lawsuit says his parents left him with a consultant who brought him to meet Combs. The lawsuit says Combs complimented plaintiff on his rapping and told plaintiff that he could make him a star. Then the lawsuit says Combs abruptly pushed plaintiff down and said words to the effect of, "You have to do some stuff you don't want to do sometimes," before forcing him to perform a sex act. Diddy's legal team said the lawyer behind this lawsuit is interested in media attention rather than the truth, and repeated that Mr. Combs never sexually assaulted or trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor. In another new civil lawsuit, a man alleges he was 17 and auditioning for Making the Band when Combs assaulted him under the guise of questioning how he would handle situations involving sexual pressure. Combs denied this claim too.
Yet, these allegations are not isolated. They're part of a broader narrative involving years of alleged abuse, manipulation, and exploitation that went unchecked, protected by Diddy's immense wealth, influence, and an entertainment industry that looks the other way.
In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more. The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson. The indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses. Now, Combs did not do this all on his own. As I mentioned, Combs has been charged with RICO conspiracy. He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way.
The allegations surrounding the Harajuku Barbies raise unsettling questions. How many others knew about these parties and chose to stay silent? And if minors were indeed present, who facilitated their involvement?
You gotta realize, man, he learned from Andre Harrell. He learned from Russell Simmons. He learned from Clyde Davis. You understand? When those people are telling you that they were heavy into they was heavy into beating women and doing things at that age, at that crazy stage, that's gonna make him think that he could get away with the same thing that they was getting away with back then. You understand? The things that he was saying, you know, the touchy-feely between two men and all that stuff like that, man. All that, he learned that from them dudes. When I told y'all the story, when me and my man went up to Russell Simmons and he had a house and he had a man in bikini drawers in his bedroom, in his bed. You understand? Bruh, this is that he learned. I'm assuming he learned it from them. Let me put that. And I'm not gonna say alleged because I saw that for my own self. My man was with me, Slick was with me, and we saw that for our own self. You understand what I'm saying? So these are behaviors and things that with and all the stuff that's going on, pills, drinking, it can make this man into a monster, and that's what it did, bruh. It made him into a monster, bruh.
In Hollywood, scandals are part of the game, but this is different. A leaked list, allegedly curated by Diddy and linked to his infamous Harajuku Barbie assistant, has surfaced, detailing an explosive roll call of celebrities allegedly involved in disturbing activities with minors.
You mentioned you're going to name names in these lawsuits. Will there be celebrity names?
I expect so, yes.
As of now, do you have celebrity names?
I do.
Do you also have corporations?
I do.
What will be the reaction, you believe, when these names come out?
I think people are going to be shocked. I think people already are suspecting some of the names that you might see. I think some of them will be shocking, though. And, you know, let's not forget that a lot of these parties, whether it be after parties, white parties, whatever the parties were, these were well known. A lot of people really were jockeying to go to these parties. These were parties where a lot of well-known people attended, and you know, so there's venues involved, hotels involved. I think that there will be individuals who had parties at their residences, people that you will know. People that attended the parties that watched some of this behavior occur and stood by and let it happen.
Do you think this man had this woman search for prostitutes online just for them to have sex with her? It's something fishy about that, bro. Because you gotta realize this lawsuit and the information they had and they gave the Diddy people was 6 months ago. So some of that stuff was cut out. Okay, we're gonna give you this, but you gotta cut this part out. Let's just say allegedly, or just for the sake of it, Cassie wasn't the only one who wanted or she didn't want it, but Cassie, who searched for the big black, and she was searching for the big black, not only for herself, but for somebody else who we all know that was in the room with her. So if he want to see it, and he want her to touch it, that other person in the room with her just might want to feel it.
This alleged list, leaked in fragments, is as terrifying as it is damning. Names of A-list stars, top executives, and even influential politicians were tied to accusations that could destroy not just careers, but entire institutions. But here's the kicker. Sources claim that Diddy knew about this list all alone and may have even leveraged it to protect his empire.
He better hope that they want to make a deal, but I don't think so, or they want somebody else. He better hope, and he got something to offer them. Even if he got something to offer him, you gotta realize, bruh, like, you got kingpins, you got dealers, you got people who make deals, there's murders and killers. They make a deal and they still get 25, 30 years in the feds. He's about 55 years old. If he do 15 years, that's 70 years. When he come out, he's 70 years old. He may not want to live like that. And then what he coming out to at 70 years old? He'll still have probably a little money to do something, but not to do nothing. So that's what he's looking at, bro.
The names on this alleged list are jaw-dropping. And when we say jaw-dropping, we mean untouchables. The revelations are shaking the very foundations of the entertainment world. And while some names on the list have gone silent, others are scrambling to clear their reputation.
Busby sent demand letters to these celebs, and he says some have already settled outside of court. But that leads us back to Ray J. His allegations sound a bit more like hush money. He said, quote, "Here's what I do know. People do catch and kills all day. For the regular world, somebody has a truth, somebody pays you to keep it quiet, and hopefully that money you got paid secures your happiness while you watch the lie continue to succeed. Basically, quote, I'll give you money, please don't talk." Ray J didn't mention anyone by name, but said these high-profile people reached out to him because of his friendship with P. Diddy, fearing that their names would be attached to his alleged illegal activity. Most of that revolves around something Diddy called freak-offs. Defined by federal prosecutors, they're elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. Along with these freak-offs apparently came a chilling pattern. Diddy or his team would drug someone, sexually assault them, and then sometimes even record it. These recordings proved to be Diddy's downfall, though, because federal prosecutors now say they've got this alleged illegal activity on camera.
But the shocking twist came when Young Miami, the City Girls rapper and one of Diddy's closest public allies, reportedly exposed details too damning to ignore.
Gina and Young Miami, they might be the star witness. Whatever she tell those investigators, she better be willing to tell that to the courts. Because you'll be sitting up like Lil' Kim, you get 5 years in jail, you lied to a federal agent.
How you feel about Diddy Shuff? I think she got a lawsuit against him.
Oh yeah, I'm not familiar with the case, but I'm familiar with the story. That every time that he would have his guests over, and she had to fix them food after they had they sexapade, that Sean would be, Diddy would, Puff, Brother Love would be naked, and she still would have to serve him and watch him. When she bring him his food, he would be naked and shit like that. And she thought that was very inappropriate. That was inappropriate. And she felt like she shouldn't have to work under those conditions.
It was Young Miami's cryptic Instagram posts, loaded with emojis and ominous captions, that first got people speculating. The posts hinted at betrayal and dirty secrets. At first, most fans assumed it was relationship drama between her and Diddy, But things escalated when screenshots, allegedly from a group chat, surfaced online. In these messages, Young Miami allegedly accused Diddy of withholding dark truths that involved high-profile names and minors.
Like, one minute I'm happy, one minute I'm sad, one minute I'm kind of like, fuck this shit. And then the next minute, I'm looking at my kids and I'm like, I ain't bring us this far to go backwards.
Yeah.
I work hard. You get what I'm saying? Like, I put in a lot of time and effort in this shit. I did it when I was pregnant alone. And I feel like in life, you gotta go through shit. Like Usher said that, and I was like, wow, that's some real shit.
Yeah.
And I feel like in life, everybody is going through something. Whether it's a divorce, whether it's a death, whether it's they just lost their job, just anything. And that's what keep me going, because I know that like life not perfect. And we gotta learn from our mistakes, and life is a lesson. And I feel like the people that I thought that would be in my corner, or that are like, when I was going through this shit, nobody called me.
The public explosion was immediate. Fans dissected every detail of her posts, searching for clues. Tabloids scrambled to piece together timelines, linking her claims to Diddy's rumored network of hush deals.
New York prosecutors are urging a federal judge to reject the latest bail request from Sean Diddy Combs. They say the music mogul is trying to influence witnesses ahead of his upcoming sex trafficking trial. In a court filing overnight, prosecutors said Combs, in recorded jail calls, asked family members to reach out to potential witnesses, including some of the alleged victims. They argue it can be inferred from his behavior that Combs is trying to blackmail witnesses into silence or into testimony in his favor. Combs pleaded not guilty in September to charges that he coerced and abused women for years.
Each revelation, the truth becomes harder to ignore. Stay tuned, because the darkness surrounding Diddy is far from over, and what's to come is more disturbing than anyone could have imagined.